Hello, I'm Dr. Katherine Horton. Today is the 10th of June 2018. It's now 20 minutes past 3 a.m. I'm giving a live update. It's really a distress call because the situation has become so ridiculous. It's just untenable. The truth is I'm being attacked extremely, really extremely. I have now built a bunker. I'm inside a metal shed. I've got layers of reflectics, and I am being machine gunned all out. They have died down now a bit, but I sent out distress calls earlier because the attacks that I suffered inside the metal shed were such that I just couldn't last in here. I now went down all the way onto the floor of the metal shed. I have now got a lead blanket, which is a radiation protection curtain, under me as I'm sitting here. I've got these shielding panels around me, and I took all the bin bags which were filled. I've got about six bin bags, or 6 or 7 bin bags just filled with the aluminium that was makeshift shielding from before, and I had to put it around me just to be able to actually survive the attack. Today was absolutely insane, but what military intelligence in Switzerland has done with me, they are now sports killing. Really, they are in the let's kill for sport phase, and they have attacked me so brutally when I came home. They were machine gunning me with the roof, showing hard shots, actually sounding hard shots. I'm sorry, I'm so disjointed because the truth is I've sustained such intense brain damage now. They have machine gunned me continuously, but I mean really continuously, with about 3 to 4 shots into my body per second ever since I came back from Hungary. And even within that, there are, differences. But what they have done tonight is just utterly insane. I was cowering here, like literally a victim in the Second World War, and I was waiting for these fucking psychopaths to stop. And meanwhile, I could hear the planes flying overhead. And this is at 2 a.m. There are no planes flying at 2 a.m. And these people are just absolutely insane. So one of the things I wanted to show you, I just don't know how long I can last. And this is being done to me 3 days before I'm expected to appear as an expert witness in Grenoble. And I have now written to Frederic Laroche, and I demand that the court case be shifted because this is intimidation of an expert witness. So I just want to start one after the other. I first of all would like to show you what my work area looks like. Okay, imagine you have to write an expert testimony under these circumstances. Is this what's expected of us women? So, and this is what really gets me. None of the men are assaulted like this. None of the men have to spend, a year living in a bunker on 2 square meters. Meanwhile, being raped or machine gunned. They can go out, they can actually give speeches, they can run companies. We can't. We just can't. And even when I spoke to Siegfried Thomas, he confirmed that his wife is being machine gunned until she's bleeding every other day. That doesn't happen to him. This is an actual outright war on women by the most psychopathic, degenerate man. And I have to say, I am beyond believing that there's any solution apart from some very psychopathic man running intelligence agencies and the militaries, having a bullet put through their brain by men. I can't do that. None of us women can do that. Women and children, we are not a military force. So I'm actually appealing to the military to do what the military does and actually kill the fuckers, to stop this war. We have now done absolutely everything we can. We have informed you, we have given you evidence, but we can't take the guns and actually kill them, which is, I think, what is required, because these people are beyond anything. I don't think you understand. I've been to 3 court cases here in Switzerland alone. None of them were actually to order. I had 3 hearings for my own court case. One of them was just utterly corrupt. I am trying my best to solve this in an orderly fashion, But then again, I know that the military, the absolute psychopathic, kitty murdering, degenerate military, is in charge of all the laser weapons. Do I really believe that there's a quiet way that they will just let go of the weapons when they've reached a wanking cramp and they are just sport fucking women and sport killing women and children? No, I genuinely don't. I really think now is the time for those people in the military to actually kill the criminals in the military by military means, because we're talking criminals. It is not normal for the Swiss intelligence agency and the Swiss military to start exterminating Swiss people or EU people on Swiss soil for sport. It is not normal for the Swiss intelligence agency to be mutilating expert witnesses. When the Swiss intelligence agency has reached a stage, they need to be put down. And I absolutely mean it. I am beyond waiting for some sort of, stupid spectacles from these men. What is actually needed is a military solution to a military problem that we've got criminals running the satellite systems, and we've got criminals training up literally teenagers to be death squads. That's what I've seen today. I've got the video footage. And this is the reality, people, okay? So now I'm going to continue preparing court cases as long as I can, but I can't. And the point when I cannot prepare court cases, the point when I'm being machine gunned and raped and mutilated so hard, I can't even get the affidavit template finished for 6 months, and I can't appear as an expert witness in France without fearing for my life, and I can't write my expert testimony because I'm being raped and chip tortured and machine gunned in a metal bunker. That's the time to actually talk military matters here. So this is the truth here. So what happened tonight is, as a physicist, I have no idea what I was actually being attacked by. I have no idea, because I have not come across something that can penetrate metal quite like that. So I'm sorry, I'm out of my depths as a physicist. There's some sort of military technology, a waveform, or some sort of energy band whacked high enough that you can actually mutilate, assault people and give them not just intense, electromagnetic pulses, but burn them and actually make their blood vessels pop inside their body. You can burst blood vessels, you can give them strokes, and, a metal shed isn't enough to protect you. When something happens, I don't even know what it depends on. If the shots go straight through silently, as they many times do, and occasionally they make a loud bang, I have no idea. It might be due to how much energy is being deposited in the metal to cause the sound, but I have no fucking clue, because I'm out of my depths here. I'm a high energy physicist. I'm not a weapons expert. And really what I'm seeing here is something I haven't fucking seen in my life ever. And I don't even know how to calculate what's happening around me. So this is how serious it is. And the people who are using these weapons against me are fucking pros. Okay? So these weapons, developed by Lockheed Martin and BAE Systems and all the other criminal Nazi organizations, have been given to the absolute scum of the earth. Now that's something to take in. So we're not just 5 minutes to midnight here, we're a quarter of an hour past fucking midnight. And I really appeal to all the militaries in the world to start going out and fucking killing men. Killing psychopathic criminal men, please. Because apparently they need to be killed before we can have orderly court cases here. And I absolutely mean it. The heads of the militaries and the heads of Intel who actually let this pass need to be put down under military law. That's what military law is for, that we can kill fucking psychopathic men who've run out of control. But I am just at the end of my fucking tether. And one of the things I see is that the women on my team do everything that we can do. What women can do is give birth to children, care for injured men. We can care for the injured. We can, keep you on your feet on the fucking ground, but we really cannot take up weapons and kill the people who are killing us. And I'm being killed. So I'm really appealing now to all the men to please kill the men who are killing women and children. If there's any natural justice, this is what natural justice stands for. That you've got a right to protect yourself when you're being killed. And I'm not asking for some absolutely moronic Joe Average to pick up his fucking gun who doesn't even know how to use it. No, I'm appealing to the military or what's left of it to fucking kill psychopaths. You know who they are. Whoever's been in position so far and built this up, it's them. Start with them. Start with the people who are running satellite systems. Start by literally going into their office, guns blazing, put a gun to their head and say, well, we would like these women and children to get better by midday. If they don't, you're out. So make whatever fucking phone call you have to make to stop this shit. You can start with the head of the military. You can start with the fucking military generals. Have a coup. Have a fucking coup back for sanity and have a coup against criminals. Because what I can confirm, based on the evidence I have seen and based on the victims who have contacted me, is that we have a criminal. It's not even a government. We've got a criminal network running Canada, the USA, the UK, Germany, Italy, most certainly Switzerland, but also Hungary and Poland. That's what I can confirm. And I've got enough evidence to back that up. So whoever runs the military and the intelligence agencies in these places need to have a bullet put through their brain. And of course, don't forget the private contractors. But I mean, this is now the time. Today, on the 10th of June, it is time, if they do not stop, to fucking put a bullet through the brains of these criminals. This is a military appeal now. I'm not appealing to the men in the street who are clueless. I'm appealing to the military to start defending their own countries. Because this is insane. What the Swiss intelligence agency has done and Hungarian intelligence, and I can confirm that, with my own eyes, is what they have done is they have taken military weapons, they have distributed it to complete proletarians in society in preparation for genocide. And this has been done by Marco Seiler, because I have informed him my very own self in March 2017. So, this, what is happening now, has been done by Marco Seiler. And one of the things I would like to show you for those people who are listening, so he is one candidate, really, to be captured and to be tortured. Absolutely. To be tortured until we find out, who the hell controls this stuff. Start with him. When it is an issue of national security and you've got some satellite systems that are, mutilating people to death, or you have satellite systems that are integrated with systems that are mutilating people to death, this is really serious. And on the ground, you have a distributed, decentralized system assaulting the own population. And it has been going on for 1 year, and the militaries have done nothing to help us. The NS fucking A has done nothing to help Karen Melton Stewart. Admiral Mike Rogers, a complete fraud, has done nothing but extend. He actually extended and authorized the mutilation of Karen Melton Stewart. What the fuck is this? Can you hunt him down? Can you capture him? Because if you can, please do. He's a criminal. Can you capture Michael Hayden? Can you torture him until you find out who the hell controls these satellites and then capture them? Because if you can, then please do. Could you arrest the heads, literally burst in and arrest the heads of all the telecommunication companies and find out who the fuck is actually, whose systems are broadcasting chip torture signals? Could you do that? Because that's the least we expect from a military. By the time you have expert witnesses stuck in a bunker pleading for help week on week and explaining you exactly what's happening, and the military does nothing, that's the point, to kill the military leaders and start afresh with the next round. I'm absolutely serious. And the reason why I'm appealing for people to be killed is because people tried to kill me just tonight. And it is my right to demand from the military that they protect the civilian population. It is actually my right under these circumstances. And I am making use of my right tonight to appeal to all these men. We need a military coup against these criminals, because the leaders of the military, they are frauds. They are criminals. And the puppets we have in Congress, they are members of a criminal network who have been planted there carefully. That applies to all the parliamentarians who do not act. They all know what's going on and they all condone it. And all I can say, based on the evidence that I've seen, is that ever more children are being implanted, ever more children are being tortured. These chips are being put into them at a young age so that they cannot tell their internal voice apart from the AI-steered computer that is interacting with them. That's what's happening. And this criminal network is taking us over one by one. I saw my own parents being taken over by the degenerates in German intelligence. At that point, the head of German intelligence, Dr. Bruno Karl, needs to be put down under military law. When that happens, Gerhard Schindler, who helped build up this Nazi machinery, needs to be put down after he's been tortured enough that he tells us everything. What the fuck's going on? Should the people who are invading his office, hopefully one day, not know what's going on or which satellite systems to take out? But literally today, on the 10th of June, we need to take out the satellite systems. We need to take, ideally arrest. But if they do not come willingly, shoot them. The heads of the military and the heads of Intel who are doing this. Because we're past waiting now. It is a lie that Intel doesn't know what's happening. It is a lie that senior intelligence agencies don't know what's happening. They've been gloating about that they are planning to do this in Hollywood movies. And I'm now sick of it. Today, the day started with my landlords, bless them. My landlords are the only people of integrity. But they had literally a flat viewing in my flat, and I had to witness how perps, a family of satanic perps, came to my flat with one of the daughters wielding a mobile phone and having a little anchor tattooed on her arm. Women do not have anchors tattooed on their arm, but she had a little anchor tattooed on her arm that was exactly a bit smaller, but exactly like the fake anchor tattoo that Lord Sumption had when he stalked me in Oxford in the summer of 2012. Now, what I'm facing here is a little integrated system between MI6 and Swiss intelligence that actually made this little satanic family appear here. They are fake. They've listened to my telephone communications with my landlords. They know that I'm giving up this flat because I have to. And they are now posing as fake tenants who can't actually afford this flat. And literally just to see a satanic family with my own eyes, with the father decorating himself with skulls. I lost count of how many skulls he had tattooed on his arms and his legs, with barbed wire tattooed on his arm and satanic pentagrams. What is this? This guy is a member of a criminal network, and so are his daughters. I mean, it was shocking, but this is the state. We had Ted Gunderson talk about the absolute rampant spread of this brain disease called Satanism, which is actually just a cover for a criminal gang. We had Dr. Ronnie Kilder talk about the same thing in Scandinavia, the rampant spread of these absolutely degenerate proletarian scum. And now we have it here. I had it today in my own home in Zurich. It revolts me. But this is how extreme it has become. And that's how my day started, actually watching this little fake parade. But then I was machine gunned all throughout the day. I was trying to hold a thought, but I couldn't. I'm in so much pain. All I can do is tweet. Literally. And then my day went on. The shots became ever more intense. I'm phasing in and out of actual concentration ability. I'm phasing in and out of extreme nausea because I'm so brain damaged. What I've lived through is artificially induced, pseudo-meningitis, continuous brain inflammation as my head is being machine gunned by the most psychopathic, degenerate vermin on the surface of planet Earth, living next to me. And as I'm trying to cope, as I'm trying to inform the world, as I'm trying to put together an expert testimony, this just continues throughout the day. Then I'm raped. Then I'm being electronically raped, like thousands of people these days who've been illegally implanted. And then the entire cycle starts again. I'm being machine gunned, then I'm being shot in the face, just for good measure, then I'm being burned, then I'm being raped again. Then I'm being tortured with chips, and this is how my day went all day long. In the end, they turned on my head chips to give me such a headache, I was about to be sick again. At that point, I was so absolutely beside myself. I forgot that actually today I had a date with Melanie to go online and do a fundraising video. And I just totally forgot because I'm in so much pain and so much distress. So this is the reality on the ground. Meanwhile, I'm getting emails from people who are being mutilated to death in their home countries, in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in Poland. This is ridiculous. And in Germany. And I'm being sent injury images day in, day out. People being microwaved in their office by their absolutely degenerate work colleagues. Microwaved so hard that the nanotechnology and the metallic bits boil their tissue and literally bits of their tissue explode off at work so that they are bleeding at work. I'm not making this up. This will be part of the court cases. Exactly this particular case that I'm mentioning here. And that's the situation on the ground. Meanwhile, Millicent, who had parts of her thigh bone amputated, has been tortured throughout surgery, throughout recovery, and is now being mutilated at home by her neighbors who are working for Randall Webster. It has been known for over a year that Randall Webster is the criminal psychopath and serial killer who's killing off the African American community in Colombia. The FBI has not just been told once, but countless times. The same with the chief of police in Colombia. They refuse because they're members of a criminal network. At this point, the head of the FBI needs to have a bullet through their brain. This is what martial law is for. This is what the state of emergency is for. It's not for fakery so that the banksters can kill everybody and continue their fucking fiat fraud and replace it with the blockchain fraud. That's not what martial law is for. That's the sort of martial law we had. No, martial law is, for the case where you've got so many fucking criminals in the military, you need to start killing them lawfully. And that's the point at which we're at. We don't need a civil war, which we're not going to survive. We need a military coup against criminals. I am so angry. I'm so angry because for over a year, I've watched this farce, and I have watched the women on my team work their ass off. We are bursting a gut. I have watched so many women being tortured. And meanwhile, I've watched men who are tortured a little bit, but nothing like us. And nothing like the children who are being mutilated and raped and killed. What is this? What do we have the military for, if not for this situation? So yes, this is a military situation, and could the military please finally get their ass into gear and start with killing criminals in office? For example, Gina Haspel, she needs a bullet put through her brain for what she's done. She absolutely has to. And I'm willing to stand up in the court of law and say that that's the right thing to do, because it is. Somebody who's that psychopathic and that criminal and has subverted the US Constitution, the US Republic, which was once upon a time, a place for hope, to get away from the Masonic criminal networks of Great Britain and old Europe. Someone who kicks the US Republic and the values it stands for with her feet like that, she needs to be put down under martial law of the United States. Martial law is not for civil war. Martial law is for a state of emergency where you need to do something drastic to protect your own population. Is this maybe the point where we need something drastic to protect women and children? Could the men of this world please finally start protecting women and children? If you start with that and make that your guiding principle, you will prosper. Because women and children have always been the future. We have never been a threat. We have never set up networks to sport fuck women and children. And that's a term that was used by the victim, who had part of her tissue literally exploded away with a directed energy weapon. She's being raped and she's being mutilated every single day and has been for years. He's reported publicly about this. And the intelligence agencies who are supposedly monitoring everything have not just done nothing, they have sold the rape footage from her and me on the black market. That's what's happening. That's why the intelligence agencies are not stopping it. There's an interview with Kirk Wiebe that I really encourage everybody who's got the time to watch this and is not in a military situation like I am, in which he points out that, I think it's with, I forgot her name. Anyway, it's one of the recent interviews with Kirk Wiebe, where he, again, outlines Love Inc., how these absolutely degenerate men in the intelligence agencies use the capabilities of NSA to have a fucking wank on the job and to spy on their spouse or partner or love interest. The only comment I have about that is that Love Inc. is not the aberration. It's the business plan. It's the business plan. And Love Inc. is not just using spying tools to spy on your love interest's webcam and her emails. No, Love Inc. is to also sport fuck women via the NSA infrastructure that interfaces with their body chips to force orgasm them, then to use their webcam to see how well you're doing, and then sell that on the black market. By a computer network known as the dark web, set up by military intel. Set up by the NSA. Does anybody still believe the dark web is not a military enterprise? So this is the live update, and I would like to show you why I'm so angry and why I have to be here, because I had to slide down in this metal bunker. So you can see me here, and I look like an utter mess because I spent the entire day with a metal helmet on, trying to work. The metal helmet is there so that the chip torture with the chips on my head is not quite so painful. It actually works. The helmet is also there so that the shots that pass through the walls of my metal shed are not quite so painful, and I can at least continue to exist. Okay, this behind me are metal panels I had to put up in my office here. Okay, but it's more than that, because if I can show you, I am sitting, no, I can't. I am sitting, okay, I am sleeping under my desk here, okay? It is baking hot here in Zurich anyway, but it's particularly hot because the outside of this metal shed is being heated on purpose with directed energy weapons and with microwave weapons to cook me alive inside here. But it's still better here. Inside here, this is my chair that I have to put up on the desk to be able to fit in here. Now this is Reflectix, and outside the Reflectix, as we've seen on the last techno episode, I've got a metal shed. Then I had to put up these. This is extra thick alu for grilling things. And I had to put it up here because that's the side that's facing that balcony I've showed you with the row of trees with the extra shielding. Okay. And they are machine gunning me. This is head height here. When I'm at my desk, they are machine gunning me through there, which is why this is here. Then next to me are bin bags filled with aluminium, crumpled up. And this is actually super protection because when one of these shots that punches through the sides of the metal shed hits, it seems to be internally reflecting here. And it gives enough longitudinal thickness that it actually is good protection. But it's a metal shed, several layers of aluminium, reflectics, and then this, and the shots still come through. Then what you can see here are baking trays, okay, that I have to keep on me on top of this. All right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a concentration camp. Well, it's either, I don't know, a military bunker or concentration camp, whichever way you want to see it. And this is literally where I sit and try to survive here. And this is how I've tried to survive now for a year. I have not slept in my own bedroom for over a year because I cannot. Because the neighbors who've been fitted out with these military weapons are machine gunning me to death. And it's my next door neighbors. How hard is it for military to find assault weapons in 6 homes? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I have now been carefully recording the bruising, including Hungarian intel machine gunning a swastika into my kneecap that I saw in the shape of bruises the next morning. That's what they're doing, people, okay? They are now just out to kill in the most psychopathic, sexually degrading way possible. Okay, and I would like to show you some more. So this is where I am. Sorry, I'm really sorry. It's very jittery, but this is how I have been trying to exist. And what happened tonight is that I had to leave the home because they were microwaving me so intensely that I felt physically sick here. I had to flee my home because of the frequencies they were pumping in and because of the non-stop shots. And I was really insecure about leaving my home because I knew that as soon as I don't have shielding, they can actually kill me with these shots. And what I thought is if I'm leaving the house, I'm going to do something productive. And I took all the neighborhood campaign letters and I distributed a couple. I went out and I distributed a couple. But I was swarmed by teenagers, by actually teenagers at 11 p.m. at night. And this means that these teenagers are being weaponized by Swiss secret services to act as a death squad. So just today, I saw a little satanic family come into my home. And then in the evening, I finish off by little satanic teenagers having been organized, and they all drive BMWs. And they all drive flashy cars because the money that the secret services, yes, the secret services working for the banks have stolen and randomly printed is now being pumped into degenerate teenage thugs to work as hit squads. So the genocide of the 21st century, the genocide that was announced by Deagle.com, and it's still good to go because they're updating their numbers continuously. That one will be conducted by these BMWs driven by 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds machine gunning you down in the street. And what they are practicing, these little darlings, at 11 p.m. here in Unterengstringen next to Zurich, is how to swarm and how to kill individuals. But you can kill really easily. You can kill people like they did in California. Just erase the homes with the directed energy weapons from space. Easy. But that's not what they want. They want a sport fuck and a sport kill. They want to get these young men and women addicted to sport killing and to sport fucking. Because that's the new world order. It's these degenerate teenagers who can't even do their maths homework. And the only thing that they can do is talk shit over Twitter. They will kill you in flashy BMWs. And then they will fuck each other. And then they will kill each other. And so on and so on. But that is the new world order. And I've seen it today with my own eyes. And for everything I say, I do have precedent and I can actually back up what I'm saying. But these are the plans. And to just show you a couple of things you might find interesting, let me just bring up a couple of references. I cannot tell you in how much pain I am as I'm talking. So the fact that I can even talk in full sentences is a little miracle, to be honest. I'm just going to, okay. So the first thing I would like to show you, so that you know who's doing this. Let me share my screen and let's point out. Unfortunately, this is in German, but I'll replace it. This is Swiss media announcing that Jean-Philippe Gaudin is going to become the new head of Swiss Secret Services. It's this guy, this fat dude, another fat white male. Great. Now, apparently this is something special because he's military. Yeah, well, this guy knows jack shit about military strategy, I can tell you that much. Because Swiss intel is still sport fucking women. And I think by induction also children. I haven't found the pedo rings here in Switzerland yet, but I'm not too far off. I think if I put my mind to it and do a bit of research, I think I can find some good leads. Because I think this, along with Paris and London and Washington, must be one of the, you know, the high bastions of kiddie fucking and killing. But anyway, this guy is authorizing my mutilation 3 days before I have to appear as an expert witness. So in case you're looking for places to storm and, you know, heads to point guns at, this one is a good one. You can storm his office on Monday and ask him, why the fuck am I being mutilated to death here in Zurich? And is he, as a military man, there to defend the rule of law here in Switzerland and the European Union? Or is he there to sport fuck women and kill them with teenagers for sport? That's my question to Monsieur Gaudin. All right. So this guy is responsible for me now. The guy who was responsible for me before is a guy called Markus Seiler. Right. Now you can point a gun at his head too, because he knows how the system works. He knows which satellites, which telecommunication companies, and which neighbors are involved in my mutilation. So if you're looking for heads to put guns at, to protect women and children, make it Markus Seiler and make it Jean-Philippe Gaudin. That would be a good start. These people can tell you what's going on. I'd rather you could go in with your guns in your jackets and just politely ask him to come with you to the local police station and then interrogate him. But he's not coming. Please pull the guns and please take him somewhere and interrogate him until you find out. That's what you need to do to stop the sport killing in Switzerland. These guys will know more. This guy is a military man, so he will know both intel and military. He will know everything. So make it him, please. If you want to save me, if you want to help me, start with these guys and ask them to stop this, please. So this is the one thing I would like to show you. The second thing I would like to show you is the detailed crime report written up by Charles Seven. about the Grenfell Towers, the fire of the Grenfell Towers in London. Now, this, I would say, was an MI5 mass murder, because it's a case that was carefully prepared. There was many complaints leading up to it, and the whole thing went up like a bonfire, but not just any old bonfire. Grenfell Towers burnt down by the fire spreading in the shape of a V. The letter V, as in victory, as in V, the double pillars of Freemasonry, as in the Templar V. So this was a mass genocide by the criminal network that is the Knights Templar, that is the Masons, and that's the Vatican, and that's the Secret Services. All of these things are traditionally one and the same entity. They are different names for the same entity. This is what you have to understand. What we call military intel in the olden days was the Knights of St. John or the Knights of Malta. Do you understand? And what we call an intelligence agency is what used to be the Masons, the Freemasons. And what we call MI6 and MI5 and the KGB and the CIA and all the others, BND and NDB, in the olden days, it was called Vatican Intelligence Services, Vatican Secret Service, run by the Black Pope as the military arm. It was also known as the Jesuits. These are all the very same entity. They are just labeled differently. Just like when you go into a German supermarket, if you go into a German supermarket and you try to buy washing powder, you will buy Henkel. Whichever fucking product you pick up, you will buy Henkel. But sometimes it's called Persil, sometimes it's called something else, but the entire shelf is just one thing. It's Henkel selling you washing powder. That's that. I think you'd be very lucky to actually pick up one that's not Henkel. And it's the same thing here. If you think it's the KGB or the CIA or MI6 or the NDB, no, it's the same thing. It's the Henkel of the intelligence agencies, which is Vatican Secret Services. It's the same fucking thing. The Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Knights of St. John's, the Knights of Malta, and all these other fucking knights, they are all just Vatican agents. And we don't think about them as Vatican agents because we cannot track the money flow and the chain of command these days because it's so obfuscated. But for the last couple of centuries, the only thing that existed were Vatican Secret Services and the Vatican military. And they were asset stripping the non-insiders, the little dumbos that couldn't figure it out or whose parents weren't in these organizations, and therefore they were the outsiders. All right, so all of these people are the same. So the only problem we have in the world is that we do not have nation states, and we never had them. We didn't have them for a very, very long time. We had the Vatican, and we had the oldest mafia families called the royals. All right, so if you're running around and you're dreaming that the CIA is different from the KGB, you haven't learned history. You have absorbed the brainwash that's been fed into us and those little internment camps known school, but you haven't actually studied or understood history. All right, so I'm sorry if you think that I'm rambling, but one of the things I would like you to understand, okay, is that all of these things are connected. Marcus Seiler is connected to Sir John Scarlett. All right, they're all connected to Gina Haspel. They are all Vatican agents. It makes our life incredibly simpler if everywhere around the world we all start talking about the same things in the same terms. We all use the same definitions. And the definitions I would like to put forward is that we have globally the one bank and we have globally the one agency, being the Secret Services. And that's that. And this war is against the one bank and the one agency, and the one bank owns the one agency. They own each other. They're one big happy family at the top. And that's what this is about. If we really want this to stop, we need to have our nation states back, and nation states are firewalls. There are firewalls around certain set groups of people so that every nation can try to develop on their own, run experiments, but good experiments, as in trying to develop further, try things out, and not being pulled in to the mistakes of other nations. That's what the boundaries are for. You know, we need boundaries, we need firewalls, because what we have right now is no firewalls. That's why we have global problems. We have the global Vatican intelligence agency, the global Vatican military, NATO, the UN. These are the same entities, right? That's the problem. And anybody who doesn't talk in these terms has not understood one thing in the world. So please let me